how to build unshakable confidence without being arrogant. Today, we're going to look at the difference between confidence and arrogance. If you're a man and you want to find the right girlfriend or wife, this video is for you. A lot of people think that all you have to do to attract women is to just be a bad boy because that's what women want, right? No, not really. That might help you with getting laid, but that's obviously not what you're looking for. You want to find a meaningful, serious, long-term relationship. So what's the difference between confidence and arrogance? Well, there's 4 sources of confidence we're going to touch on in a moment. But the core hypothesis of arrogance, well, there's actually a few. One of them is I am better as a person than somebody else. Not within a certain realm of competence, because I am better than you in a certain area of competence, and you are better than me in a certain area. So we're not talking about competence. People who are truly arrogant, they believe that inherently they are worth more than others, which inevitably leads to them treating other people poorly. Now, a lot of people confuse really high levels of confidence and self-empowerment with arrogance. As long as you don't believe that you're inherently worth more than another human being, which you are not, because our worth is the same as long as we're a good person. As long as you don't believe that, you are not arrogant. There's one other really important manifestation of arrogance that I want to talk about today, which is the people who seem the least arrogant are often the most arrogant. Let me say that again so you really understand it. The people who seem the least arrogant are often the most arrogant. It's not the people who are extremely confident. I am extremely confident. But when I'm talking to somebody who has an expertise in a certain area, I learn. I'll never say, oh, I already know how to do that. When my friends give me feedback, I listen. I apologize quickly if I did something wrong. There is an absence of ego, but you can be insanely confident and still open to learning. There's a lot of men out there, maybe even you or your past self, who thought, I don't need help with this dating thing. I'm already doing all right. Really? So why aren't you in a relationship? You refuse to accept a lack of competence within a certain area because you think that as a man, you should be able to do this yourself. Dating is no different than any other area of your life. If your knee was broken, would you try to fix that yourself, or would you find a knee surgeon? When I punched a friend of mine in the head during a boxing class 15 years ago, and I broke my hand because I wasn't wearing wraps, we were sparring, by the way, I went to a hand surgeon and I got it fixed. If I would have tried to fix that myself, my finger would be rather crooked. And you need those fingers. Cringe. The German came out. Anyway, right? You want to find somebody who has a certain expertise in a domain. You did that in your job or your business, where you've asked people for advice and then you progressed. The people who progressed the furthest, who are successful in any area, they all had coaches or mentors or people they learn from. That is a fact, because you don't learn anything by yourself in life. Nothing. Walking, and even there you have help. There's only 2 ways to learn in life. One is trial and error, and the other one is learning from other people, standing on the shoulders of giants. If I hadn't met my mentor working for Salesforce many years ago, who showed me the path, the way, and the light in this dating space when I was still with my ex-wife, I'd probably still be unhappily married, or at least I would have never found somebody like Fernanda. I would have not made the experience that I have, and I definitely would not be in a position where I've taught hundreds of men from almost 40 countries and helped them find a really quality relationship. And some of them, or a lot of them, actually get married. Arrogance means understanding where you're at. It means facing objective reality and saying, I am extremely good in this area and here I know nothing. So if somebody comes like me and gives you advice, you open your mind and you say, if I don't have the results in the area that I want to have, there must be something I don't know. So that is another manifestation of arrogance. And the biggest reason people don't have what they want to have is because they're arrogant. They think they're already doing well. They have an ego because you think, oh, if I were to admit that I need help, that says something about my self-worth as a man. No, last year in March, I asked a friend of mine who's the best weight loss coach in Germany to help me lose some weight because I was always in shape. I was training karate, but my nutrition was complete shit. I never understood a thing about it. And then I realized, oh, you can train a lot, but still get fat. And then I did 3 months of one-on-one coaching with him. And I'll show you the before and after maybe at some point. It was staggering, okay? Was it because the caloric deficit is such a artificial, such a intellectually challenging concept that I wasn't able to achieve it myself. No, it's mindset problems. 80% of success in anything is mindset. And yes, then there are things like the levers for satiation, fiber, volume, protein. If you don't understand these things, if you don't understand nutrition, well, it's going to be extremely difficult to lose weight. So I had to go through that. And then it was really easy. Right? But I put that ego of mine aside, but it was actually interesting. He had to convince me because it probably took a year or two before I actually took him up on the offer. Because I said, you know what? I'm already in a relationship. How's my life actually going to be better? I'm already doing right. Why do I even need that? And he says, what the fuck are you talking about? Your testosterone is going to go higher. Your overall sense of well-being and how you feel is going to be better. And this exact same thing with the relationship. You might say, I already have a great life. It's not like I'm miserable. Well, what are you missing out? Do you want to have a family? What kind of a role model do you want to be to your kids if you can't even approach a woman? If you don't even have the confidence as a man to go and introduce yourself, well, how can you teach your kids or your son someday? Do you just want to settle for surviving, or do you want deep happiness? Because the fact of the matter is that we as human beings, we are meant to be in a relationship. We're not meant to be alone. That's why I always talk about the importance of high-quality male friends. You as a man have to surround yourself with quality male friends on a weekly basis. Spend time with them. It empowers you from your core. It's extremely important. But you also want to have an intimate relationship with that partner. So have your own list of what an ideal life would look like. And then picture that. Picture the benefits you could get from that. Why does it actually matter to you? Why now? Why not 6 months ago? Why not just wait another 6 months or a year? Why now? And then you expand on that. And once I put my ego aside, then I listened, I got fantastic results within 3 months and I felt so much better about myself. You could say on the outside nothing changed, but how I felt, my happiness, which is ultimately everything. Because it doesn't matter how big the house is, how good your LinkedIn CV is. If you're lonely, or if you're not fulfilled on the inside, if you're not as happy as you possibly could be. Life is only about two things: being happy and making other people happy. And not just hedonism, that's not what I'm talking about, but meaning, going to the gym, having a mission or a job or a career that you enjoy, building something. For some people, it's legacy. For some people, it's various different things. So happiness and meaning, I take them as one. I don't just mean doing drugs and getting a cheap dopamine high, which eventually leads to a crash. Because remember, reward preceded by effort boosts testosterone. But if you get a reward, if you get a dopamine spike without effort beforehand, it'll crash and it can destroy you. So happiness, meaningful happiness, and making other people happy. That's all life is about. And once you find a way to contribute, it's about making yourself as happy as humanly possible, because it's your responsibility. Because you will not be able to be the best father if you're not inherently happy. Your kids are going to pick up on your energy, how happy you are. They don't just learn at the level of your words. And by the way, it's also going to make you more productive to have the right woman by your side, because productivity isn't how many hours you can work. It's how many outputs of you, how many units, of output can you produce per unit of time. And for you, it's probably a lot more intellectual. Making a couple more good decisions can have a huge impact. It's not just grinding away for 16 hours a day. That's not realistic, and it only takes 5 to 8 hours a week. So arrogance also means that you put your ego aside and you understand that I value the result more than the way I view myself, which isn't even based in reality. Because if you think, oh, I'm already doing all right, and you're not, well, that's called being arrogant. So how do you develop real confidence? The first source is competence. Getting better at something, learning nutrition. You got more confident in your career or your business, the better you got at it. You develop a competence, that competence leads to confidence. In psychology, they call that the confidence-competence loop. The second source of confidence is your mental and your emotional state. I have a 50-something minute video on my YouTube channel here called Inner Game Mastery. It starts on a mountain. Go check that out. Inner Game Mastery. It's 50 minutes. Go check that out. That'll help you with the second component. The third component is osmosis. Cultivating a local as well as virtual network of high-quality male friends, of people who can serve as role models in this particular domain, men that you can hang out with. I connect guys in my coaching program all the time. And these are dudes who are managing directors for big financial institutions in the US. Like, I connected a bunch of guys in Florida, for example. They met through the program. They're all friends now. Internationally, we do that. And that's one of the great benefits. You completely misunderstand the importance of having a good quality network. And it's not just about networking to get something out of it. The only reason you should talk to a dude is because you want to have a connection. It's because you want to have a good time. You want to spend productive time and enjoy. Do you not enjoy going to the gym more when you have a friend by yourself? When you have a friend by your side, I mean? Do you not enjoy talking about business more if you have somebody with you that you enjoy talking about business with? Do you not enjoy nature more when you're with somebody? We are meant to have a tribe around us, and human beings have forgotten that. The single greatest hack to your happiness, other than finding the right woman, is quality male friends. And then the fourth one is beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? Your thoughts lead to your actions, and your actions lead to your results. If you don't assume conscious control over controlling how you think and how you talk to yourself in your own mind, you will never be able to take consistent and strategic action in this area. And make no mistake about it, my friend, finding a quality relationship is a rather rare outcome. Look around in the world. How many men do you actually see that are in quality relationships with a woman they're physically attracted to, that has an amazing personality and that they're intellectually compatible with, so they can have challenging conversations? You can get it, but it's going to require 5 to 10 hours a week. You sleep 8 hours a night and you have 112 waking hours available to yourself. You probably even sleep less. If you sleep that, you have 112 waking hours available to yourself. Dating takes 5 to 8. That's 4 to 7% of your waking time. There is no excuse. Rounding this thing full circle, you can be a genuinely, truly confident person, and that comes independent of volume. That doesn't mean having to prove anything to anybody. It means she gives you a congruence test, for example, and instead of reacting and over-explaining yourself, you simply say yes and, you accept and amplify the premise, or you just say, hey, can we just have a normal conversation? And you remain emotionally non-reactive. You can choose confidence, by the way. Little hack. You can just decide to be confident. From today, your identity, because that's the core shift that has to happen, how you view yourself, can be one of confidence. I am a confident guy. I am hardworking. I am kind. I'm a good father. However you define yourself to be. Once you define yourself as extremely confident in this area, your actions will start mapping that, because the strongest force in the human personality, Tony Robbins says, is the need to stay congruent with who we believe we are. So be very careful what words come after I am. The way you define yourself, you will find a way to live up to that. And if you're the hardworking guy, if you're the guy who finds a solution, if you're the guy who treats people well, if you're XYZ, you will find behaviors, conscious or unconscious, that you live out consciously or unconsciously, that live up to that version of identity. So start defining yourself as that person. And by the way, you being confident doesn't take away from other people's right to be confident either. You playing small does not serve the world. Let me say that again. You playing small does not serve the world. You can show up in a really confident way and lift other people up. I'm not here to dominate people. That's not my job. My job is, yes, to show you a proven process that works. Facts. But it is to help you step into your competence. That's what I do with my clients. And that's what I'm trying to help you with these videos, is to reclaim, because you've had it before. You didn't have the skill set. You never had the skill set. If you had the skill set of dating, communicating effectively, screening for red flags, all of that, you would not have ended up in the relationship that you're in. But you've had temporary moments of confidence. The experience of confidence, you've had that. So it's a state that you can learn to prime. I learned from one of the best psychologists in Germany. I'm not a psychologist, not pretending to be, but I learned a lot from him over the years. And he says confidence is a state that we can learn to turn on. We can prime that. It's an experience. And once you make the decision to refuse to live in an insecure state, to refuse to buy into something like awkwardness, which doesn't even exist, by the way, once you refuse to live insecure and you develop the habits to back it up, it's only a matter of months. If you take action, if you get more quality dates, if you figure out dating apps, if you do a couple of things right, until you find a really awesome woman where you can sustain and maintain attraction for a long time, you can become a truly confident version and wish the same for everybody else. This is not about being arrogant. This is not about believing that you're inherently worth more than other people. No, you want to treat beings well. You want to treat people well, and yet be an extremely confident version, because a 6 or 7 out of 10 level confidence is not enough to attract the type of woman who will be really right for you for the long term. You will have to have extremely high, call it 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 20 out of 10 level confidence on that hypothetical scale. If you don't have that, if you worry about what people around you think, It'll be difficult, but as I always say, there's nothing wrong with you. You just have to change a couple of habits of thinking and feeling and acting. You at your core, if you're a kind, hardworking, good person, there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to learn a skill set and get rid of some blind spots. If you want me to help you with that personally, let me tell you something. In June, we have a special. For anybody who joins the coaching program in June, we are giving them one free seat for a live in-person seminar that's happening at some point later this year. So if you've been thinking about joining the program, do it this month. Do it in June. Don't waste your time, because that bonus will be gone, I swear to God, after the end of June. So if you join this month still, you will get free seats for a live in-person seminar that is happening by the end of the month. So just apply for a free call, have a conversation with my team, and we'll figure out if that makes sense for you. Because look, theoretically you have a lot of time, but you're also getting older. And why wait? There will never be a perfect time. Oh, I have to work on myself first. No, you work on yourself by getting out there, by working on your confidence, by working on your communication skills. One final little note. This goes into so many other areas. This is not just about finding the right woman. I had a client a year ago who worked for one of the biggest banks in America. You would know it if you heard it. And he has a PhD in AI. And in their department, they have this program where they can submit their ideas to get them patented. He never did it because there's so many competent people who submit ideas. He never thought it was possible that his idea would get chosen for the patent. 1 month into the program, his confidence level is so much higher already. He submits his patent, it gets chosen, and it was used as the official algorithm to decrease customer service requests on the website by 17% of a bank that has tens of millions of users in the US, a name that you would all know. His salary went from 180K to 350K. He has his own team that he's managing now. He has a completely new sense of being, and he has somebody by his side that he's really, really proud to be with. Okay? Click the link, apply for a free initial consultation. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.